Dinosaurs have an interesting stay in the TCG. While generic dinosaurs have gone from unplayable to seeing some success in the TCG, their archetypes haven't had the same success as the playable pile of fossils. Dinowrestlers don't beat these allegations either, and it's due to a lack of sound mechanics, which we'll explain in this video. The Vrains archetype would see its debut in the TCG set Soul Fusion. The set contains 6 cards for the archetype, 5 monsters, and 1 field spell. Out of this amount of support, only 1 card saw meta play. Can you guess which one it was when we list them off? Let's start with Dinowrestler Capitera, a level 3 wind dinosaur with 1600 attack and 0 defense. If your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls and send it to the graveyard. If this card is sent to the grave as a link material for the link summon of a Dinowrestler monster, you can give the link monster that this card uses as material 1000 attack until the end of the turn. Dinowrestler Capiraptor was an Earth level 4 with 1800 attack and 0 defense. When in attack position, it can't be destroyed by battle. If it's attacked, it's changed to defense position at the end of the damage step. During the standby phase, if this card is in defense position, you can special summon a Dinowrestler Capiraptor from your deck. Dinowrestler Stegosaur was a level 4 Earth monster with 1900 attack and 0 defense. If it's special summoned, you can add a Dinowrestler monster or a World Dino Wrestling from your deck to your hand. Once per turn during the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was sent there this turn, and your opponent controls more monsters than you, then you can target a Dinowrestler monster in your graveyard and special summon it. Dinowrestler Pankratops is a level 7 Earth with 2600 attack and 0 defense. It can be special summoned from your hand if your opponent controls more monsters than you do once per turn, and has a quick effect which lets you tribute a Dinowrestler monster to target 1 card your opponent controls and destroy it. Dinowrestler King T-Rexel is a Link 3 Earth Dino with 3000 attack, requiring 2+ Dinowrestlers to make. If it battles, your opponent can't activate spells or traps until the end of the damage step. Your opponent's monsters cannot target monsters for attack except for this one. And at the start of your opponent's battle phase, you can target 1 attack position monster your opponent controls. In this battle phase, your opponent cannot attack with other monsters until that one has. And if it does not declare an attack, destroy it at the end of the battle phase. The last card is the field spell World Dino Wrestling. While you control a Dinowrestler monster, each player can only attack with 1 monster during each battle phase. If your Dinowrestler monster attacks an opponent's monster, it gains 200 attack during the damage calc. Once per turn, if your opponent controls more monsters than you can banish it from the graveyard in order to special summon a Dinowrestler from your deck. Analysis. It doesn't take a lot of effort to see what was wrong with the first wave of support. For one, the archetype was battle-oriented, meaning that most of its gameplay concerns going second. For a deck to be good going second, they must have constant extenders to play through their opponent's interruptions, and cards that can effectively break their opponent's board. That seemed to be some details Konami forgot when they made the first wave of Dinowrestlers. However, they did make one of the Dinowrestlers succeed in board-breaking ability. Pankratops saw a heavy amount of play on its release, and is known as one of the best second-turn board breakers in the history of the TCG. Not only did its attack stat allow you to beat over problematic monsters, but its easy summoning condition and quick effect to tribute any Dinowrestler, including itself, to pop any card on the field, made it one of the best options to tackle anything on your opponent's board. It could get rid of anything, ranging from floodgates to annoying nuisances. It could also dodge interruptions with its quick effect, guaranteeing the removal of your opponent's cards and great for baiting out disruption. So Pankratops can be seen as a win for the Dinowrestlers archetype, and one of the most versatile monsters ever printed. The same praise can't really be said for the rest of them. Already hindered by the tragedy of being a second turn, battle phase oriented deck, the monsters outside of Pankratops had very mid effects and conditions. Capitera's removal effect wasn't a quick effect and made it easy to interrupt. Capiraptor's protection was only to stop from being destroyed by battle in attack mode and special summon ability. So Stegosaur needed to be special summoned to get its search in a deck that only had one in-archetype way to do that. And King T-Rexel's effect depended on your opponent to go into their battle phase to utilize its 3000 attack beat stick status, but had no protection outside of spell and trap cards when it attacked. To further kick the dinosaurs while they're down, the field spell was lackluster, only giving a measly 200 attack and a weird floodgate effect that was only live when you had a Dinowrestler on board. It also didn't disrupt your opponent in any way, no negation or nuisances to slow your opponent down. The field spell only seemed to be useful for its graveyard effect. Simply put, the deck wasn't playable, or more so, just incomplete. Even with the use of generic dinosaur support, it was just better to play generic dinosaur pile, as dinosaurs were way superior to Dinowrestlers in terms of gameplay. Dinosaurs were also the better version of Dinowrestlers, being well known for being able to tackle boards going second. They had powerful options to break boards with ease, like Miscellaneousaurus and Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, the ability to search Dogoron with Slumber, and could even just splash in Pinkertops without the rest of the Dinowrestlers as board removal. 2019 would be the next time the Dinowrestlers would get more support in Dark Neostorm. This support would introduce more main deck and extra deck options for our wrestling friends. The main deck was introduced to 3 new monsters. Dinowrestler Kosalot was a level 2 Earth Tuner with 100 attack and 800 defense. If you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. If special summoned this way, it can't be used as a link material, except for the link summon of a Dinowrestler monster. Kosalot could only be summoned like this once per duel. Dinowrestler Screamamenchi was a level 6 Earth with 2200 attack and 0 defense. If you controlled a Dinowrestler monster, you could normal summon the card without tributing. During your turn, if your opponent special summons monsters while this card is in your graveyard, except during the damage step, you can target a level 4 Allure Dinowrestler monster in your graveyard, special summon it, then add this card to your hand. Dinowrestler Marshal Anga was a level 5 Earth with 1600 attack and 0 defense. During damage calculation, when your Dinowrestler monster battles a monster with an equal or higher attack, its quick effect lets you send this card from your hand to the graveyard to prevent your battling monster from being destroyed by that battle, and also ends the battle phase after the damage step. Once per turn, during the end phase, if this card is in the grave because it was sent there to activate this effect this turn, and your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can special summon this card. Their newest group of extra deck options starts with Dinowrestler Terra Parcorio, a Link 2 Earth Dino with 1000 attack. Taking 2 Dinowrestler monsters to make, once per turn, if you activate World Dino Wrestling, you can target a Dinowrestler monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand. If this card is sent to the graveyard as a link material, you can target a Dinowrestler monster in your graveyard and special summon in defense position with its effects negated. Dinowrestler Giga Spinos Evade is a level 8 Synchro with 3000 attack and 0 defense, needing 1 Dinosaur Tuner plus 1 or more non-tuners. If it battles, your opponent can't activate spells or traps until the end of the damage step. Your opponent's monsters cannot target monsters for attacks, except for this one. Once per turn, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls and destroy it. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can destroy 1 card you control instead. Dinowrestler Chimera T-Rexel is their level 8 Earth Fusion with 3500 attack and 0 defense, needing 1 Dinowrestler Link monster plus 1 Dinowrestler monster. If this card battles, your opponent can't activate spell or trap cards until the end of the damage step. If this card attacks the defense wizard monster, inflict piercing damage. Your opponent's monsters cannot target monsters for attacks except for this one. If this card destroys a monster by battle, it gains 500 attack. And if this card is destroyed by a card effect, destroy all of your opponent's attack position monsters. The last piece of support is the fusion spell to make Chimera T-Rexel. Tyrant Dino Fusion, which is a quick play spell that fusion summons 1 Dinowrestler monster from your extra deck using monsters you control as fusion materials. If you do, the first time that face-up monster in the field would be destroyed by battle or card effect, it is not destroyed. Analysis. This support introduced more options to summon, but it didn't fix the woes that followed Dinowrestlers in the TCG. Terra Parcorio helped with going into King T-Rexel, and it helped set up 2 materials for Tyrant Dino Fusion to make Chimera T-Rexel, which highlights the bright side of the new support. Unfortunately, all the cards have weird drawbacks or just mediocre effects yet again. Kosalot was the special summon the deck really needed, but was only once per duel. Though the Screamamenchi graveyard effect was solid, it was still an extender that ate up your normal summon. And Marshal Anga was yet another card only useful for the battle phase, and offered no sort of benefit outside of the battle phase. Its special summon effect is too conditional. And even if it was special summoned, it would be at the end of your turn. You wouldn't be able to use it for your plays and combos. The most egregious thing about Dinowrestlers is the fact that the deck doesn't even operate well during the battle phase. It doesn't OTK, it poorly controls its opponent's battle phase, and their cards offer poor protection to help their board into the battle phase. They also still had an issue with fighting negations, and no good first turn plays, since most of their effects played off their opponent's turn. This sad ongoing issue continued with their next wave of support. In the TCG set Rising Rampage, 2 more cards will be introduced to the archetype. Dinowrestler Marshal Ankelo is a level 2 Earth with 1000 attack and 0 defense. During damage calculation, if another Dinowrestler monster you control battles an opponent's monster, its quick effect lets you send it from your hand or field to the grave, and prevent the Dinowrestler monster you control from being destroyed by that battle, and the attack of your opponent's battling monster is halved at the end of the damage step. During the end phase, if this card is in the grave because it was sent there from the field this turn, you can special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. The second monster, Dinowrestler Rambrachio, is a level 5 Earth with 1600 attack and 0 defense. When your Dinowrestler monster inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can special summon this card from your hand in defensive position on a hard once per turn. Your opponent also cannot target other Dinowrestler monsters you control with card effects. Analysis. Neither card really improved the gameplay, though Rampage did finally get protection from card effects by making them untargetable. It was just held back by its special summon condition needing the battle phase from your opponent in order to summon it. Ancleo had a similarity to Anga, being able to prevent your monsters from dying in battle, but it also dropped your opponent's monster's attack, making it easy to swing over that target. It also lets you send this card from either hand or field, unlike Anga, which just lets you send it from the hand. It also comes back from the graveyard during the end phase, not requiring your opponent to have more monsters than you, yet again, not unlike Anga. It does have a slight drawback in that for it to come to the field, it needs to be sent from the field to the graveyard the turn you activate its effect. But since it comes back during the end phase, it means you can't combo with it, leaving it hanging on the board for it just to get destroyed, bounced, or banished. Then there was the issue of the deck still not having more than 2 pieces of spell and trap card support, which is dire for any archetype to be consistent, and most of all, playable. With only a quick play fusion and a battle phase oriented field spell, there was no way for Dinowrestlers to be buildable. Dinowrestlers stayed stagnant and still didn't see any play outside of Archetypes being everyone's favorite turn 2 board breaker. Their last chance came in Chaos Impact. The final and most recent support for Dinowrestlers came in Chaos Impact in late 2019. 3 more monsters were introduced, starting with probably the best of the bunch, Dinowrestler Iguana Draka, a level 6 Earth with 2000 attack and 0 defense. You can discard 1 other dinosaur monster, special summon this card from your hand. You can tribute a dino monster, then target 1 Dinowrestler monster in your graveyard with a different original name from the tributed monster, and special summon that targeted defense position. Dinowrestler Marshall Ampelio was a level 1 Earth with 600 attack and 0 defense. During damage calculation, if your other Dinowrestler monster battles a monster with an equal or higher attack, its quick effect lets you send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard. For that battle, your monster can't be destroyed by that battle, and battle damage you take is halved. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, once per turn, you can banish this card from your graveyard, add a Dinowrestler monster from your deck to your hand, except another copy of itself. And finally, Dinowrestler Vailionix is a level 3 dinosaur with 1600 attack and 0 defense. If your opponent controls a monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. While you control a Link 3 or higher Dinowrestler monster, face-up monsters you control are unaffected by the activated effects of your opponent's Link 3 or lower monsters. Analysis. Chaos Impact finally gave them solid extenders. Iguana Draka was a great extender, letting you pitch a dinosaur to special summon it, and Graveyard Recovery allowed you to bring back any Dinowrestler, whether it be main deck or extra deck monsters. It was also level 6, meaning it and Kosalot was an instant Spinal Savate, with just 2 cards. Vailionix was another extender, having a Cyber Dragon-esque requirement to be summoned. It wasn't a once per turn effect, meaning it could be summoned more if your opponent only had monsters. It also granted protection from Link 3 or lower monsters when you controlled a Link 3 or higher Dinowrestler. Though, many can say this is gimmicky protection because there are many extra deck monster options, regular monster options, and spell and trap cards you can go to remove stuff from the board. Meanwhile, Ampelio was, well, another Marshall Dinowrestler. 2 of the 3 new Dinowrestler cards boosted the consistency of the Dinowrestlers, and at least gave them more room to create better boards. So, were they playable after this? Absolutely not. Even with these new pieces, they still only had 4 extra deck options with middling effects. The core playstyle also never improved, with the deck still trying to control the battle phase on both players' turns. Its battle phase strategy would be more acceptable if it had any way of OTKing, but the deck didn't even have any way of making that possible. Even with Iguana Draka joining the lineup as a great extender, the deck still didn't set up any good boards going first, and still struggled board breaking going second, even with one of the best second turn board breakers belonging to their archetype. This only went further downhill when in 2020, Konami would hit Dinowrestler Archetypes to 1 copy, making it harder for them to go into boards with multiple interruptions. Also, where was the spell and trap card support? The archetype to this day only has 2 in-archetype non-monster cards. Poor Dinowrestlers, since they have been delegated as a casual deck for locals or random low-tier tournaments as of today. And this concludes the history of these prehistoric wrestlers. It's one thing to be bad. It's another thing to be bad while having some of the strongest generic support running the meta. However, being a gimmick-riddled going second battle phase controlling board can only get you so far in an evolving game. They can't establish strong boards, have boss monsters with lackluster effects, are reliant on your opponent's board, and worst of them all, only 2 spells to their name. Dinowrestlers' identity was everywhere. Was it supposed to be a second turn deck that could break boards? Or a deck that controlled your opponent's battle phase on their turn? Whatever the goal was, it didn't pan out and left the archetype as a deck that couldn't do anything efficiently, even if you got to the battle phase. These wrestlers were less WWE and more WCW. And sadly, they're completely gone out of business. Dinowrestlers now join the Hall of Fail.